Deadline for the Real ID is quickly approaching. You now have just 2 days to get one.
If not, you may face delays when going through the airport. News 13's Gracie Fusco joins us live at Myrtle Beach International Airport. And Gracie, what do people need to know?
Trish Edward, beginning this Wednesday, May 7th, a Real ID compliant driver's license will be needed by travelers in the U.S. in order to board domestic flights or enter certain government buildings. The Real ID Act was passed in 2005 based on the findings from the 9/11 Commission that showed the TSA needed to raise the baseline for security on state-issued IDs. After being delayed several times, officials say they are committed to the enforcement come Wednesday.
May 7th is only a deadline if you're traveling on May 7th. We're calling it an enforcement date. So really, your deadline for Real ID is going to be the next time you're traveling or the next time you're going to visit a federal building that requires a Real ID to enter.
The way to know if you have a Real ID is to look at the top right corner of your license, and if you see a star, you're good to go.
The differences between a legacy ID and a Real ID, if you put them up side by side, are very, very different. The Real ID has a number of additional security features on it, like holographics, photo inlays, things like that make it nearly impossible to replicate or counterfeit.
One Conway resident who was flying back to the area told me she made sure to get the Real ID when she moved here a few months ago.
I did ask about it. I said, do we have to get the Real ID? She said, yeah, by a certain time. So we just decided to just get it. Even though I had my passport, I said, you know what, that's like double ID.
Another resident told me he's had a Real ID since 2021, so he's glad he doesn't have to wait in long lines at the DMV.
It's not that I travel a lot or anything like that, but I'm sure that's where it poses most the inconvenience. I'm very glad that I do have it and I didn't have to do anything special to get it.
Those without the Real IDs will face inconvenience and delays, which is why officials ask those travelers to get to the airport 3 hours early.
There's a potential we're going to have to do a full identity verification, which can take some time.
TSA officials report that so far 81% of travelers either have the Real ID or another acceptable form of identification. TSA officials say you can still fly if you don't have a Real ID. You just need an alternate form of identification, like a passport. Reporting live in Myrtle Beach, Gracie Fusco, News 13.